Hey guys, this is Adam with See You Later Leaner, and I wanted to take this time to highlight my client and friend, Janine Priest, who not only won the Masters World Championships, but also the Legion Sports Fest. She won the 60 and up bikini and the 55 and up bikini. And with those titles, I've been calling her the fittest in the world at her age. And, I just think that you have a really incredible story. I got the honor of doing your blood work back in 2021, kind of the end of the year. And then, through talking about the science of prep and some of the things, you got a little more interested into, well, how much better can I be with, maximizing some of these variables? And then you became a full-time client earlier this year with, I think we had maybe 8 weeks out from the Worlds and we had to pull it together. It might have been quicker than that. It might have been 6 weeks. So it was a very, very awesome experience to be able to get you on my team and just have an awesome communicator, competitor like yourself. So first, I just wanted to introduce you, but first question, I just wanted to ask how you got into all of this. And I know I kind of know, but I think for our audience, it's really never too late to start this journey.
No, absolutely not. Well, actually, I've always been an athlete my entire life. Was a cheerleader in high school, and then I went into nursing school. But during nursing school, I picked up running and really got into long distance running. Would run basically almost every day that I possibly could. And actually, I was at a clinic, and one of my friends who owned a gym just opened up a gym. I saw her at a clinic, and I said, "Wow, you look great." So she asked me to come to the gym and say, try it out. And I was never a gym rat. I didn't like gyms. But I thought, well, what do I have to lose? So I decided to join the gym, had a trainer there. And he was also a runner, and it was pretty eye-opening when I was doing the workout. I could barely even do a sit-up because my core wasn't good. Cardio wise, I could do as much as I could do, basically run forever. Then the owner of the gym obviously asked me to start maybe do a bikini show. And I was like, no way, no way. No, you're not getting me. And that was, I think I was 57 at the time. And I said, no, I don't think so. And then my family was going to Europe. And so we went to Europe, and he says, just try one. And when you get back, we'll have a 6-week prep. And I'm like, 6 weeks. Okay. Well, at that time I was only like 90, 95, 96 pounds. Pretty thin, really thin. But I gradually started to gain weight and gain muscle and lowered, and he's had me stop my running. I still ran a little bit. So I entered my first local show in Reno, Nevada. And it was called Best in the West. And I placed first place. I got first place in my first show in 50 plus. And after that, you might say I was hooked. And then I did some more local shows. And then I went on to Sacramento Championships, and I got first place there. And I don't have all the specifics. I can't remember it. It seemed like it happened so fast. I did my first national show at TCM. I believe it was in 2020. And at that show, I looked around, and it was a huge show. And I thought, this is great. This is nice. This is going to be a wonderful show. And, all these women look great. Hey, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to place. There's just too many good it was like beyond what I've seen before at local shows. And I placed first and I got first. And it was quite shocking. It was quite humbling, but my first national show, I went pro.
It was cool. I was there, and I go to these shows, and sometimes people become my clients out of just meeting each other. And you're correct. It was
That
2020, the year that
yeah,
Tina got her
Tina,
pro card,
yeah, my
and
bed.
the Orlando year of TCMs. So
Hmm.
definitely a special year.
It
Now, you
sure
had
was.
mentioned something that was interesting to me. You said that you never liked the gym.
Yeah.
Was there a fear factor that you had to overcome, or what do you
Mhm.
think it was that you didn't like about the gym initially?
Um, I think I'd never really experienced the gym before running. I would go to another local gym and do like step classes a long time before that. But I think I don't think there was a fear of the gym. It's just that I was just so into running. I think
Hmm.
that was my therapy. I just never was really introduced to the gym, never did weights, never even had an inkling or a thought to do that. Like I said, my love was running. And yeah, it was hard to stop running, but I when I started the gym, I felt stronger. I started to have more self-confidence, and had more I just felt better about myself. I was starting to
Hmm.
gain weight and didn't look so, sickly. I mean, I'm not saying this against runners, but a lot of runners are very, very thin. But yeah, I love the gym. I absolutely love the gym.
I think that a lot of times too, with gym training versus running seems so simple, right? You go out
Mhm,
and do one thing. The gym can be intimidating for a
mhm,
lot of newbies because there's so many different exercises. And I I think the gym is a much more welcoming culture than people view, but everyone sees the gym memes and they're afraid they're going to become
yeah,
one if they do a machine wrong.
yeah,
And it sounds like you had really good instruction right
I
up
did.
front. And that's always so helpful. So, anyone listening to this podcast, sometimes just having a good trainer to
Yeah,
break you into getting used to the machines. Even in the world of online training, I think there's a lot of good use for in person. And
absolutely.
that's one thing that I've experienced a lot being in Vegas. My clients are more easily accessible to me to come in, do a
Yeah,
workout in person, learn some new things. So that's awesome because that helped you probably accelerate your progress by having someone in person to
absolutely.
get you comfortable. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I'm one of those people. I've always been very competitive. I never did running races. I did a couple, and of course, I would never let people pass me. So I think that really helps me. I'm one of those they call. I've heard that term abdominal spirit in the gym. You push yourself to the limit, and I do that sometimes, probably too much. But um, I figured, hey, that's what gets you to where you need to be. Actually.
You know what's funny is you mentioned that, and I found that in a reverse order. When I ran races, I think even though I pushed myself, I think that there was a point that I never pushed myself in high school in my cross country days
Mhm, yeah.
because I never felt in my cross country days like I did at the end of a squat or a leg
Eh,
press or almost pushing that failure point. So I think if I were to ever go back to running, I would be able to find that pain point better and that point of discomfort better. But it sounds like for you, you were able to find that with your running and then
mhm,
transfer it into
mhm,
competing because you
absolutely.
definitely want to work hard. If you're not pushing, it's not that you won't get results, but you're leaving a lot on the table that you
Mhm,
probably could be benefiting from as long as form's good and you're not injuring yourself.
absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. And I
That's
think
awesome that
that's
you
the
mentioned
key.
that.
Yeah, I think that's the key is good form. I mean, now, it's not about how much weight you can push, it's that mind muscle connection, and I'm trying to work more with that and really, concentrate on those kind of things. I think that's really beneficial, and like I said, I love to push myself in the gym, and when I leave the gym, I feel like, "Okay, I've accomplished a good workout today," and I feel great. That's that's just how I feel.
What's great is if you ever wanted to get back to running, it's there. It's never
Yeah.
gone. There is a
Yeah.
cardio component to this
Mhm.
sport. And you naturally it makes sense because we sometimes in the off season we've pulled you down to less, but you tend to like to do it. So that definitely makes a lot of sense that
Mhm.
you come from a runner's background.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's one reason why is I've been fortunate because I think my years of running, and I don't know scientifically, but I have to think this is that people are like, how can you eat so much? I mean, you eat, that amount. I'm like, well, I think it's just my years of running, my metabolism. I've always been an athlete. So I've never ruined my metabolism. I've always just ate what I want in moderation. I
Mhm.
never go overboard. I know, I just feel like you can run and you can eat healthy. But it all boils down to moderation and just knowing when enough is enough.
Yeah, I think not letting it get to a bad point in the first place, right? It sounds
Exactly.
like you've always been relatively lean, so you've
Mhm.
probably, never really had super high body fat. It sounds like once you started eating more to fuel the training, you were
Yeah.
just able to grow muscle because you
Yeah.
had this new stimulus that you'd never really had.
Correct. Yeah.
It's a great recipe for a world champion for sure to have that many years of experience, being essentially a life athlete. And,
Mhm.
anyone listening to this podcast, it could be rock climbing or biking. It
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily
absolutely.
have to be the same journey, but these life athletes do tend to, be better. And after a while, we were just like, hey, we want to try something different. And I've
Mhm.
even had competitors move to triathlons and things of that
Yeah,
nature. They do
absolutely.
very well.
Yeah. No, I mean, once in a while I'll go for a 3-mile run and that's good cardio too. It's not I'm not to say that you should stop running, not at all. I mean, like you said, you can incorporate that in your cardio. To
Yeah.
me, I was just doing, obviously I was doing anywhere from 6 to 7 miles every day, every day. I never took a day off. And that's not so good for your body, honestly. And thank God I have no issues from those years of running. Um, so that's good.
Yeah, I think staying at the lower body fat helps. It's a little bit less joint impact too,
Yeah.
which is nice because,
Yeah.
some people maybe shouldn't do as much pounding or running as
Hmm.
maybe they're doing just based
Yeah.
on their current weight, where biking might be better. So, so one reason we aligned really well is with your nursing background. It sounds like your family's following suit as your daughter just got pinned during the Legions for her
Yeah.
nursing degree.
Yes.
Um, Tell us about your passion for that, because that obviously
Um,
leads to the health and fitness too.
well, I've had, well, I lost both my mother and father at a very young age. I lost my mom when I was 19 to cancer. She had colon cancer, and both my brother and sister were off at school. So I was basically the caregiver and starting nursing school. And then um, I knew at that point in time, I knew that I wanted to be a nurse. I saw things that I didn't like way back then. I mean, I've been a nurse for, oh gosh, 45, 45 plus years. And back then, like I said, hospice was not, it's evolved much more now. But I saw things that I thought, I want to be better. I want to be a better caregiver than that. And then on top of that, after my mom passed away, my dad had a stroke and I also was taking care of him. So the passion to go into caring, really, I mean, I knew after high school, I knew what I wanted to do. I went right into nursing school, got my bachelor's, and started nursing. And both my daughters, they have both graduated from nursing school this past year, and they both have jobs in our local hospital, and they are following mom's pursuit. And I have to mention my son too. I'm very proud of him too. He's graduating in this December, in mechanical engineering, and he's doing great too. So, and then, like we're all medical. My husband is a retired physician. So, they all are, doing well. And, I'm so fortunate. I have to say, I have the best kids. I don't know. I can't express how much I love them. That's all I can
That's
say.
awesome. Well, and on top of, balancing your career as a nurse and being an avid competitor, traveling to all these
Yeah.
shows, sending your check-in pictures, you're putting a lot on your plate still.
Yeah.
A lot of people in their 60s, maybe not always, but maybe have a little bit less active lifestyle with their children, just based on whether they're off to college and,
Yeah.
with your kids being close. It allows you to be more interactive. Do you find it hard through the day to balance everything or?
Well, yes and no. I mean, obviously, my husband and I had children late in life. I mean, when I had my first child, um, I was 30, was it 37, and then 18 months later, I had twins at 38, almost 39. So we're older parents, and to me, I think that that's really beneficial, because they can see what we've been through. We're established. We're there for them, and yes, they're very independent. Yeah, they come over a lot. Mom, what's for dinner? And those kind of things. And I love that they're close. Um, there is thoughts about them, moving out of Reno eventually once they get established. But they are really, as far as work, I love my work right now. I do per diem work for our Washoe County Health Department. It's very diverse. It's probably one of the most interesting jobs I've had in my nursing career. And I love it. It's just per diem, and it keeps me busy on top of going to the gym and dealing with my kids and whatever. I like to be busy. I'm not one of those. I cannot sit still. I'm I have to go. I have to move. I have to move.
That's awesome. My parents, my father especially had me later in life. So there was a 15-year age gap. And I think, I can definitely resonate with having a older parent that, my parents were more established because of, my father's age. And it definitely allowed for a lot of different experiences that I probably wouldn't have had I had younger parents. And I think that's great that your kids are so close to home, and also your passion for nursing is really touching. And my dad passed away through hospice, and I have just the most respect for hospice with seeing how well he was cared for. But my sister also is in nursing, and
Uh,
she was like the second nurse staying there helping him. And you guys don't get thanked enough for what you do, especially with everything that's been going on.
yeah,
It's been some really crazy years for nurses, so
yes,
thank
and
you
that's the
for all
truth.
your help and service and all the lives that you're touching with that.
Yeah,
And
I appreciate
beyond
that.
that, I mean, with you being the best in the world, people
Oh,
seeing you, you probably don't realize how many people you're motivating to better health just by seeing, how you look on stage. And
oh,
I'm sure you get messages all the time, because I know when I post your age on my stories, I get a ton of messages where people are like, we can't believe that she is 60.
oh. Yeah, I have a handful of 60 plus IFBB pro competitors that I just adore. And, it's great camaraderie. They all look amazing. They all do. And I tell you, the classes 50 and 55, they're really bringing it now, and I think that's great. I hope we are an inspiration. Like you said, it's never too late. It's never too late, really. It isn't.
It's a competitive sport, but I find the older the divisions get, the more supportive it is.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I remember going out for lunch with Sheila and some of her friends from nationals. Those are just some of the funnest groups, or the
Yes.
older groups. It's just
Yes.
life's a little different. You've experienced more. And I think a lot of time the younger competitors get the promotion on Instagram. And
Yeah.
that's one reason I really wanted to do this podcast too, because it's really different when you're in the older age brackets, and just I think people only see this like dark competition with the open girls, and even though it is relatively friendly too, it's just a lot different
Yeah.
in the more mature ages, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Well, I think we support each other. Yeah, it does boil down to a competition, but in the long run, it's like we're all there for the same reason. We all want each other to do the best they can. We support each other. At Legions, it was like, congratulations, good for you, yay. You get off stage and they're all congratulating each other, and it's really nice. It is,
It really
definitely.
is. Definitely great shows too. Gary Udit running the
Mhm.
Masters
Yes.
World
Well,
Championship and the Legions. Those are
yes.
probably my two favorite Masters shows of the year, to be honest. So
Yeah. Yeah. Great shows. Great shows. And San Antonio was fun too. I liked the San Antonio. I thought, I'm trying to remember the promoter for I think it was Tim Gardner.
yep,
I'm not sure. Yeah. That
yep,
was a
that's
really
right.
fun show too. That was a fun show too.
And we shouldn't discredit, you've had two other pro championships this year. So
Oh,
four total this year, right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
I think,
amazing. Technically, I think five if we include the two at Legions.
yeah.
So
Well, yeah.
that's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Well,
So
thank
how impactful do you think the blood work was in helping optimize your season this year?
Well, thanks to you, I did get the blood work done. Did I do a whole lot with that blood work with my previous coach? No. Um, you did put me on some supplements because my testosterone was extremely low. It was really low. So you put me on like the DHEA and those kind of things, which, um, and I am going to be getting lab work in the next day or two that we discussed, because I haven't had lab work since last December,
Yeah, it's always
for
good to
multiple reasons.
retest.
Yeah. So I kind of want to know what's going on, as far as that. But yeah, I mean, I think your supplements help me, not to discredit my past coach, but I wasn't put on any supplements or anything like that.
Yeah. It, we had to give some credit. He got you to, a good
So
position for where we were when we
absolutely,
started. Um,
absolutely.
one thing was when I saw the low testosterone, obviously there's not a whole lot we can do from a natural perspective, but you are right. The DHEA we use for that. And then we use boron to kind of free
Mhm.
up the testosterone that you did have. And, it's always hard to say, right? Because you never have an exact twin of like a Janine and a Janine, and put this Janine on supplements and this one on not. But when we're optimizing these internal levels, and just having vitamin D, which is a precursor to your hormones in your body, which 90% of people are deficient in, I really believe that the more than just macros approach we're doing, and more than just meal plans for you, because we do meal plans, and I think that, it definitely makes a big difference in just optimizing not only your health, but then your performance on stage.
Yeah, and I have to say, I am lucky as how I was able to put on muscle with my past coach. And I mean, he was a great coach and trainer for me. And he basically built me. I mean, I can't deny that. He basically built me. But there again, I worked really hard in the gym, and I was able to put on a lot of muscle. I don't know, genetic wise, I think it's always good to look at genetics before you do anything. I think I'm a big proponent of that.
We both agree on that a lot, because I get a lot of inquiries with younger girls who either have been on PEDs or want to, and they've not even competed yet. And
Mm.
I've had girls who do this and they dislike it once they try it. And then when we teach people fitness, it's like teaching someone to walk. If we teach someone to walk with a limp, they're always going to have a limp. And I really think if I, diet a girl down and I teach her that she needs, Anavar or any other drug, let's say she goes through childbirth. Later on, she says, "Oh, I remember what I did to get fit last time." And that's like always it for them. So I always try to at least get them to do a drug-free show, a couple times before they end up, relying on that, because it does kind of tend to become a crutch for a lot of people, or you just only know what you know. So with contest prep, there's a whole curriculum of things that can be learned. And this is why I do the daily Zoom calls with my team, because they can just absorb a lot of information and they can hear it from a lot of different angles, a lot of different things I'm doing with different clients. So they can really hear how individualized their plan is for them and why. Of course, there's a lot of similarities because there is bikini criteria, right? So everyone on my team's trying to get shoulders like yours in their 20s, but they haven't had all the years of training and experience and being a life athlete to have that yet. So it does take some time.
Absolutely. And there again, I think when you go to the gym, you have to make it what you want to make it. I mean, you have to go there. It's not social hour. It's you're there to work out. And basically when I go to the gym, I'm like in my little zone and do my little workout. I have my little workout and, I'm just pretty focused, and I think that's the key, is really giving it your all in the gym. And I tell you, I do. And I think it does really help.
Absolutely. So who are 3 of your biggest support systems?
Well, my number one support system, as far as family or friends.
Anybody.
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to say my family, obviously. Second of all, I have to say my partner in crime, which I call her my pick, is Shella Looney. She's always been by my side. She's my momager, my videographer, she's everything. Yeah.
I was
She's
hoping you would bring her up.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody thinks we're pretty crazy, but hey, we're crazy and we have fun. And we are going to be both captain. She's captain. I'm co-captain for the Angel Fashion Show at the Olympia. So we're going to be collaborating. We're collaborating together. We have like 5 or 6 girls underneath us. So we're going to have fun. Our squad's going to have lots of fun.
That's so cool. What's great is in a competitive sport, I'm glad you brought her up. I kind of wanted to draw you into bringing her up. Women supporting women is huge. And to find that type of friendship that you guys have is so special. And, you guys compete in the same sport. It's competitive. And I think sometimes she's more excited about you going on stage than herself, and then vice versa.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's so cool to see you two support each other and make a lot of memories, because regardless of how you do in the show, I know that you're always going to be happy because you and Sheila get to do something outside of the show.
Yeah.
And that makes the trip more than almost the competition does.
Yeah, it totally does. To this very day, I think one of the best memories I have of her and I is when I won my pro card, and it was in 2020. I was so shocked on stage, and they said I won my pro card. I was walking off stage and she was at the bottom with her arms wide open, ready to hug me. And the whole line of women were all clapping. I was like, I will never forget that. I will never forget that. And she gave me the biggest hug. And it's like, so we've been, I can't ask for a better friend. Yeah.
It's really cool because like there's just no jealousy or no backhandedness. It's just pure love. And like I hope that everyone finds their own, Shayla in this process.
So true.
And I can say that I found that with my best friend Fran, who has now became my business partner. And I found that through competing, and it's just it's so special, and you
Absolutely.
you can make friendships through the sport, and really you've done this remotely a pretty short time. So, you're going to keep meeting more people like this in your tribe as you go.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's, I mean, it's a tough sport. I mean, there's a lot of people that on on the outside of the competitive world that kind of look at you like, what are you doing? I mean, why do you do that? Why do but it's kind of nice when you get around people that are like-minded and, or just want to be fit and healthy. And there's really nothing wrong with that. Yeah, we might go to some extremes to say the least, but a lot of people on the outside don't understand, and that's okay. But for me, it's hard to let that go, but sometimes you just have to say, okay, you know, if that's how they want to be, then that's the way it is. And you have other friends that are really there for you too and support you.
hmm Competing gets kind of a bad rap because,
Mhm.
it it becomes a little bit of an addiction, right? You do it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's exciting, it's fun, but you start thinking of other addictions. It's usually people seem to have only maybe one reason why someone might drink a lot or one reason why someone smokes or does drugs. But I
Yeah.
think competing gets confusing because there's a lot of different themes and why people think we do it. And
Yeah.
some people think it's like an eating disorder. Some people
Mhm.
sexualize it or say that we just want attention.
Yeah.
Some people
Exactly.
actually believe that it's, for health, and for a lot of people it is. But there's just so many different
Mhm.
themes that people attach to it. But I also think people get threatened by it because or think people are immediately vain without talking to them. And
Yeah.
the more and more bodybuilders I talk to, they're most of them are totally different than if you're just looking at them face value than you
Right.
think they are. I really enjoy getting to know the people behind the body.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's good. I mean, that you don't put all your apples in one cart. I think it's good to have other interests outside of bodybuilding. I think that really helps to have kind of more of a balance in life. Like I said, I love my job. I love doing that too. And when I get in my job and doing my nursing job, I don't really think about bodybuilding unless I'm on prep and I have to pull out my meal or something. But hey, most of my colleagues are understand. They're like, "Oh, what are you eating? That looks good." I'm like, "Try it 6 times a day." No, I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, everybody's pretty supportive, and I think, I think, I think for me, the biggest nemesis for me is probably social media. You get
Okay.
on social media and you look at them, and you're just like, "Oh gosh," and then it gets in your head, and that to me is probably my biggest enemy, and I know that.
Yeah. What part, to dig deep, what part gets in your head on that the most?
Oh, I think it's when you're kind of like for instance, now I'm in off season and you still see your friends competing and you're like, God, I wish I was at that show. I want to be at that show. I want to do that. Those kind of things. But you're kind of thinking, no, I need a rest. My body needs a rest. I'm done. I need to rest.
Yeah.
Those kind of, so you're thinking, yeah, I wish I could do that one. I wish, but you have to think about your body too, and what's best for you.
There's ways to enjoy from afar too, and, like, having your friend Sheila who
Yeah.
just kinda
Mhm.
wrapped up her season, I got to see you support her, so
Yeah.
that's kinda cool to switch the roles, which is good. Um, and that's awesome, so kind of fear of missing out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of more how you want to put it. Yeah, I agree.
Well,
Yeah.
what's cool with the Angels thing, it sounds like you get to mentor some young girls
Mhm.
into, getting to do this. How does that work exactly?
Well, it's actually not just young girls. We have all ages. We have some ages that are like 50, 30. Um, so we're required to help them. obviously they get, through the angel competition, they get a couple suits, and obviously they pay for them. And then there's a whole itinerary. We are responsible for helping them pose, getting to know them, telling them what they're doing. And then there'll be props for the fashion show. So we get to see what they're going to wear and mentor them that way. And it's a show where there's no stress. It's not a competition. You don't have to be stage lean. There's all certain stages of prep, all certain stages of fitness, and you don't even have to be a competitor. Most of the girls are competitors, and we're all there just to support each other, just to build confidence and just have fun. It's
That's
not
cool.
like, it's not shaming you because, oh my gosh, maybe you're 5 or 10 pounds a little over. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what I love about Angel Competition Bikini. The owners, Kara Jones, it's all collaborating and just being one and building confidence.
Yeah, building your best mind, body, everything. I really enjoy the fact that the show's like not judged and it's just a performance and entertainment. And my Instagram feed gets flooded with the photos the week after it happens. And it's so cool because it's such a change of pace than what you're used to seeing on social media. So that week after is really cool. Really cool to see.
Yeah, we're the halftime show.
Yes. So your next fashion show is at the Olympia, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
That's
Between
awesome.
judging and finals. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think
That'll
we have like
so fun.
160 girls. Yeah.
That's so cool. So it'll be on the Olympia stage?
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah, very excited. Very excited. Like I said, it's gonna be fun. There's no competition. It's just collaborating, having fun with all the women. It'll be a good time. I'm
That's
excited.
awesome.
Excited.
So now a couple fun ones for you. What is one of your favorite prep foods? So when you have your meal plan, what meal do you tend to look forward to the most?
Well, I eat a lot of chicken. I think honestly, chicken is probably my favorite. I don't eat a lot of fish. I've done tilapia. I'm not a big, it's okay. I love salmon. I do like my salmon, but I'd have to say chicken. I like to be very creative with my meals, my meal preps. And I'm a creature of habit. So meal plans are okay for me. Yes, I will learn macros.
We're gonna work on that.
I will. But yeah, I'm very creative with my meals. I try to, I love to cook. I love to bake too. But
Perfect.
So
I thought you were gonna say the Dove bars that I put on there.
I like those too. And I am cooking Thanksgiving, so that's going to be we're going to have to talk about that one.
That's awesome. And then what's your favorite food outside of prep?
Oh boy. Chocolate.
Anything chocolate?
Anything chocolate. Crumble cookies. We just got one in Reno, which is not a good thing to have here. I like the crumble cookies.
That's awesome.
Honestly, I like I said, I love to cook. My kids have grown up with my home cooking. I don't know if you've seen my previous posts. A lot of my friends were like, gosh, did you eat that? I'm like, yep. So yeah, I like anything that's homemade.
That's so cool. And then anyone you'd like to thank before we end our first podcast today?
Well, yeah, I would like to thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
I want to thank you because if it wasn't for you, I'm not sure I would probably be continuing my journey. You kind of picked me up.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me. So
yeah,
I didn't know that you were that low when I picked you up, but that means a lot. So
pretty low.
you deserve to be picked up, and I think you got a lot of life left in you in this. So let's keep it going.
Well, thanks to you. Like I said, I can't thank you enough. I've told many people that you were there for me, and I
Yeah.
can't begin to tell you how much I appreciated that.
I think it always feels good to be made a priority. And I also think one thing is that stands out about you is you communicate well. And you know, if any athlete of mine ever felt like they weren't, that's never the case. I just need them to know it's such a dynamic process. And sometimes clients may need something, and I don't know if they're like floundering over here, you know. So I just need to know when they need help. But thank you for saying that. And I'm hoping that this is the first of many more
Yeah.
inspiring podcasts for other people to follow your journey and just get to know the real Janine Priest a little more.
Well, I'm ready for 2023.
I am as well. Well, thank you for your time
Thank you,
today.
Adam. I appreciate it.
And we'll see you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, Adam.